Alrighty, hello every folks, and good morning. Welcome to a quick first impressions here for Fernageddon. So this is, I mean, even by the developer's own words, a game that is very similar to Battle Brothers. Effectively, imagine a scenario where you were playing Battle Brothers, but you got to play as the apocalypse, more or less. You were the end times event, rather than trying to survive against it. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking at here. That you are effectively a cult dedicated to a god of fire whose whole goal is just to burn everything down, more or less. You know, hopefully they don't run for office in 2028. They might actually win. Anyway, as far as as far as overall premise goes, yeah, it's an interesting idea. You're kind of traveling the world, but rather than the sort of camera view that we see from BB there, instead we have a sort of classic RPG first-person view kind of situation, meaning that you're generally operating with more landscapes but less information. And again, your goal is not really to interact with the world as much as kind of destroy it. So and what you're doing is you're traveling along, trying not to piss off your fire god. For some reason, he's very fickle and just gets very mad at the fact that you're not making the apocalypse happen fast enough. So the guy turns on you over time if you aren't going and making enough end times happen, so to speak. All right. Also, I love how if you try to take a shot but you're outside of range, your unit just sort of dances. Okay. Okay, so a couple of things. I will mention the animation work is interesting. So if you're familiar with the art style that BB does, they went for something similar. However, I kind of appreciate the sort of different angle that they went with it. Rather than the weapons being swung around onto the portraits and the portraits doing more of that reactionary type of stuff, interestingly enough, you got like a Rayman hands kind of situation going on, which usually works. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, this is a game that is still in development. Let me just go ahead and throw that out there first and foremost. So if stuff looks weird, that's still being worked on. It's like a solo dev project, so don't exactly expect a kind of a AAA type of details on everything. But from what we've seen, this is pretty solid. So as far as the animations go, for stuff like bows, it is a little funny that they basically fire without pulling back the bowstring, or for two-handers, it looks like they fully dislocate their shoulder. But yeah, for stuff like spears, axes, like general sword and board kind of stuff, it actually looks pretty alright. Like I'd say it actually functions pretty darn well, looks pretty natural for the most part. As far as the friendly fire chances on stuff, it feels, again, just like kind of Battle Brothers in that regard. Like, you try to take any risk of friendly fire whatsoever, you will accidentally decapitate half your team. Like, oh, I'm sorry, the crossbow shot missed so hard that they lost a limb. Like, how did that happen? They were all the way over there. Don't question it. Let's see, flee or fight on? I mean, your job is to end the world, so I guess we'll just go ahead and start with this random unfortunate traitor. They were just trying to do their job, and unfortunately our job is murder, so there's that too. Okay, so I don't know how far the gameplay loop extends beyond beyond like this kind of combat and just exploring the world, because yeah, here, can we do the same old? Yes, we can. Okay, good. We can just right-click everything into our inventory. We don't have to go through everything piece by piece. Okay. So this is what I was saying about the world being kind of open like this. So when you go out into the world, you're just kind of looking around like from a classic RPG perspective, sort of maneuvering around. It's actually a little funny because if you're playing this handheld mode on Steam Deck, unless you rebind the controls, you basically just have to manually click on these arrows, and there's just like no way to tell where the hell you're looking. Anyway, your starting team, depending on what you start with, because you can start as like an army, you can start as random cultists, or start as peasants, and all of that will be essentially a modifier for your campaign over kind of how quickly your god here gets mad at you, how quickly you like the kind of start that you get as far as your equipment is concerned. Where what kind of people you started with and whatever else. So like in this particular instance, I started off with a main character that was a thief. As I figured they're trying to end the world, it's probably good for them to be relatively sneaky. And they started off with a band of cultists, which allegedly allows them to get better equipment faster. I guess we'll see how that pans out. And let's see, what kind of armor do you got? Medium armor? Yeah, I will say heavy armor feels like it has a pretty big advantage so far from what limited I've seen of the game, where just like heavy armor plus shield allows you to really, really tank hits pretty darn well. Like at one point, I saw a unit doing a 4v1 on my first playthrough there. Um, so that ended up working out pretty well for them. Anyway, let's not get too distracted. Hopefully, um, let's go ahead and see what these skills look like here. I will say, as far as the UI is concerned, um, it is a little hard to read. I'm hoping that this becomes easier to read over time. Though I will say I definitely didn't grow up playing the first Diablo very much because it reminds me of that from what limited I've seen from when my friend was playing it. But but yeah, it is a little hard to read the text, especially on handheld there. Let's see, what do we got? So we got rotate, use the skill to swap places with an adjacent ally. Hot step, use the skill to move a space. No opportunity attack will be awarded. Um, okay, that actually seems very useful. Yeah, just stepping out of the way of opportunity attacks feels like it'll definitely be necessary at some point. Do weapons break in this? I mean, they say common or good. I'm assuming those are numbers, not. I don't actually know if weapons break or whatnot. I don't know if we actually need a reserve weapon for anything other than like switching to ranged mode. But oh well, we'll go ahead and throw some extra weapons on people for good measure. Here, just have a little sword there. And we'll go ahead and move on from there. So, when you're traveling around the world, essentially what you do is you find settlements, towns, and whatever else. You're encouraged to go and pillage from any people that you run across, and you go into towns and you try to subvert them. Like we go into here, we try to recruit somebody, and depending on the persuasion of the people in your team, you'll essentially kind of roll for a chance to get somebody on your side. So, it'll take 1 to 3 days, and somebody joined our cult. Whatever orator is, I guess. I'm assuming they're gonna go and talk to people or some such. So we'll go ahead and leave that town. We'll go ahead and look back, and we'll go into there again. If we wanted to, let's say, go and try to subvert it again, subversion will take a very long time. Remember, the world gets more dangerous as time goes on, and the God of Fire is not the most patient. This time it'll take 2 to 6 days. Sure. Apparently, our new orator guy is good at talking, and so apparently there's a decent chance that something will happen. And sure enough, we got somebody, and we'll just say warrior this time. And then presumably it would scale up if we went in there again. All right, let's see. So ambitions work as far as I can tell, just like they did in BB or in something like Norland, there, essentially just kind of giving you a goal to work towards. So let's see. Have a champion with at least 15 will. That requires leveling somebody up. I don't know if they're going to survive. Command, fork tongue. Have a champion with at least 15 command. I don't know how to make that go up. But that has to be your main person. So like your main person is your champion, your followers aren't. Killing 15 things sounds like it's probably going to be the easiest, or just getting your stats up to 15 in general. We're going to go ahead and go with that for the time being, as it feels like we can put a whole team effort towards that. Okay, so as of the moment, this dude does not seem terribly unhappy, but the more time that we spend doing things, the more unhappy they get. But presumably we make them happy by going and kind of taking stuff out that we run across. So let's go ahead and see what we find over here. See, not known for my patience. There's still 22 settlements that must be cleansed. So yeah, we're supposed to just go and burn settlements for the most part. I'm not sure why it sometimes gets really dark before it gets really not dark. Let's see. This looks like a small army of some description of, I guess, like 5 dudes. I mean, theoretically, we could probably take that. You found a fellow champion of the fire god. They eye you warily. Oh, okay, so it's a fellow team there. So if you can challenge them, apparently, to go fight on one-on-one. You can attack them, or you can attempt to recruit them, which seems possible. 20% chance for that to succeed. You know what? I'll take those odds. Failure will mean combat. Sure, do it. Did it work? You have been judged unworthy, and now you must fight. Well, I guess that was our goal to begin with. So 1 champion, 4 beastmen. I mean, 6v4, I'll take them odds. Sure, and that puts us 6 closer towards what we're working towards, so I'll take it. Now, let's see. 30 health, so they're meaty. Probably, let's see, low armor, high health by the looks of it. This guy's got very heavy armor. Um, okay, whatever. So I'm thinking what we probably do, probably park our... Here, let's just swap you over to ranged. And we'll have him just kind of take a little bit of a shot at the moment. We'll have them all switch over to range and sort of take turns as they approach. Let's see, 25 AP, 20, okay, well, she'll be up front, because she can probably avoid the best. So we'll go ahead and leave her there. So one thing I do like is that you can kind of pass their turn to act later in the turn, but we don't really need to do that for the moment. So we're just going to go ahead and put up a defense here. You just go ahead and wait there. Let's see, what are you currently operating on? Bow. Let's see, 13%, 11%. Whatever, just take shots. Just take shots. Eventually something's got to hit. Also, the music is very, very dramatic, I gotta say. So that's interesting. Anyway, let's see. Can you stab? No, but you can defend. So I will say defense feels like the more kind of powerful option in general. As far as firing over allies to try and get some free shots off, that has not felt like it's particularly worthwhile. Oof. Okay, maybe we're actually a little bit screwed now that I look at it. Okay. Yeah, these guys seem to have a pretty decent amount of movement to them. We'll go ahead and leave you about there. Probably not the best call. Alright, they block that. Alright, you take a quick step here. Take a little bit of a jab at this dude. I mean, considering the high odds to hit his next to no evasion going on there, that's... Okay, well, she is very dead. We never really got a chance to use Hot Step, so that's a bit of a bummer. They stepped into the afterlife. Why can you not fire? Why are you just dancing? Reminds me of Team America. You're like just dancing in the back of the Jeep. Oh man. Okay, yeah, I think we're gonna die. I'd say the odds are not looking too great here. Like, if we can even land a hit, that'd be great. But I think it's fair to say that they've probably got a little bit of an advantage here. Just kind of slowly poke this guy a couple of times, hope that works out. Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of about how this thing goes. Needless to say, I'm good at losing at Battle Brothers, not so much at winning at it. But yeah, no, they fear it's lost. You only fear it? I guarantee it. But at this point, this is like 2 seconds into the campaign, so whatever. We'll just kind of attempt to swing at this guy and see if maybe finishing him off by some lucky hit manages to... Yeah, that didn't work. I mean, they can run away at this point, obviously, but yeah. That's kind of about that. So that's kind of the general idea. You travel around the world, you try to burn down all the settlements that you come across, you try to subvert them to get more people, and you try to set the world on fire. And sometimes you try to recruit somebody, and it fails so badly that they decapitate your entire team. So yeah, that's kind of about how that went. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure how this cult operates on this kind of Highlander logic, but, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, so yeah, let's see. What else we got to work with? Can rest for an hour. Okay, does that make anybody heal any better? Maybe. Maybe. Now, that being said, if they're wandering around and trying to also set the world on fire, it kind of makes me wonder if maybe, like, we just kind of help them succeed. Is that an option? Because I feel like serving as support to something like that would probably be a bit of a cool idea. Let's see. Can attempt to recruit more people. 50% chance. Sure. Someone joined. I don't actually know if anything goes wrong if you fail to succeed to recruit them. Feels like no. But yeah, that's kind of more or less what we're looking at here. This is a cool idea. I haven't had an absolute ton of time to get into this thing here. Also, apparently we've already pissed off the fire god by losing. So, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, this looks fun. Definitely Definitely an interesting take on the genre there. Also, there's something off in the distance. What are you, like wolves or something? Like, I like this, by the way, the sort of aesthetic here of just sort of wandering around and trying to spot what the hell's going on at the distance. It's pretty cool. It reminds me of all things of playing Magic Carpet back in like the DOS days. But the way stuff moves is very kind of disconcerting, I would say. Like the way everything just sort of slides along because it's all technically just sort of taking turns, you know. I think that's the doggos right there. Can we like pet them or something? Can we just sort of pet the doggies, or are we just gonna get eaten by the doggies? I think we're gonna get very dramatic music eaten by the doggies. Okay, so this was also kind of a poor idea, and we'll see if the old thing holds up of spears not necessarily being very good against dogs from Battle Brothers, because yeah, generally that went poorly pretty much every time. Also, Hot Step Lady apparently survived. How about that? How about that? Here, you go ahead and defend and counter. We'll see if that works out. Alright. Yeah, you just defend and let them come to you. Like, sure, these guys are less armed with giant battle axes like they were last time, but all same. I don't know what our odds are looking like. Now, will the dogs stand there and, like, will they actually get close? Or, yeah, no, they will. I was going to say, are they going to do the whole circling thing? Because that'd be pretty cool. 30%. Well, it's something. So just stab and defend. Granted, this team is very, very defensively orientated, so it's not too much of a shocker that offensively they're a little on the garbage side. And we're getting eaten by dogs. Okay, cool. So yeah. How much health do they have? 18. Okay, so they are tougher than our dudes. But, you know, they're trying. They're trying. So while we end up going and becoming this Angry Pupper's lunch, we're just going to go ahead and leave that there for the time being. If anybody wants to see anything tested on this thing, do let me know. Also, nice 95% miss. But yeah, I think the old thing holds up of swords actually being, like, sword and board being good versus dogs here. So, yeah, good. Good on you. Good for keeping that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and leave that there. And, yeah, y'all have yourselves a good one. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.